So, dear ones, I have kind of an emotional episode for you today. I haven't really processed all the emotions of it, which is normally something I do first before I record an episode. But I received the nudge from my higher self to just share with you all of it, of what I'm going through. So I'm just going to do it and we'll see how it ends up. And I'm doing it all really in service to you. And it's about telling the truth and the importance of telling the truth. And I'm specifically referring to, we need to tell our kids that there's no such thing as Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, or the Easter Bunny, or those other things that we tell them that don't really exist. And before I go any farther with this, I want you to know that I'm not really speaking to you as an individual parent, because every individual parent has to decide what's best for them and their kids and their family. So if you have older kids and you practiced believing in Santa, that's amazing. You probably have loads of fond memory. If you have still Santa believing kids, I'm sure it's a great source of joy for you and your kids. And if you have little ones, toddlers and babies, maybe this is something you're looking forward to. So I'm not speaking to individual parents. I'm speaking to us all collectively, and how we need to collectively shift our perspective. And I'm going to offer you a really compelling reason as to why. And ultimately, you're the parent, and I don't judge you. Please know, I do not judge you. I know how hard it is to parent, and I honor you, and I thank you for everything you do. I want you to be higher self-led about what's right for you. So imagine this episode is a message to the collective. Okay? And I feel so strongly about this. I'm going to tell Freya today in an episode in front of you that I've been lying to her about the existence of Santa Claus. She's 8 years old. And she very much knows that there are strong indications here and there and everywhere that he's not real. And so I've been wanting to have the conversation with her and just be honest. But I wanted to also give her the fantasy of the excitement of all the lovely, amazing things that kids get to feel and experience when they believe this person like Santa Claus exists and is going to come give you presents. And it's very exciting. And I wanted to give her that excitement. But I never liked lying to her, especially when she started asking me point blank questions about it. And I did my level best to answer the questions in a way that it was actually the truth, that I was telling her the truth. But ultimately, I'm now realizing that I really wish I would have just told her the truth. And it's okay, because I was doing my best, and I don't judge myself, and I don't judge any parent. Nothing about this is judgment. I'm just sharing a perspective, and you're going to understand why in a minute, why I'm feeling so strongly about getting this message out there, about how we just need to start telling the truth. So why don't we just go ahead and get right to it? In today's episode, I reveal why we have to stop lying to our children about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, how this blocks their belief in their own intuitive gifts. And that's the reason why we have to stop, and I'm going to tell you exactly how this is happening and what we need to be saying to them instead. We'll end on an invitation that will have us all together just being honest and being set free by the truth, so we can evolve as a humanity to higher consciousness. So please stay with me until the end. Hello, Soul Guide Circle. That is the name of this global and growing community of soul-guided leaders and entrepreneurs. In the Soul Guide Circle, we are using our spiritual gifts to grow prosperous, heart-led businesses that are on the leading edge of consciousness. Find a link to join our closed Facebook group at AllisonScammell.com or in the show notes. All right, guys, today we're talking about why we need to be honest with our kids about such things as Santa Claus the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy. And the reason why is because it blocks us all, and certainly I was told there was a Santa Claus when I was a kid that I believed in. But here's what's happening. We're telling our kids to believe in something that they can't see or hear or touch or taste or smell. Something non-physical. I mean, it lives at the North Pole, right? It lives with the land of the fairies, wherever the Easter Bunny lives. And we're saying, believe in this thing. It's real. And if you believe, you get presents. You get rewarded for believing. And we perpetuate a whole thing around it. A whole holiday. A whole commercial orgy around it. And then they get old enough and they all figure it out on their own usually. And they realize that that thing we told them to just believe in, that thing that they couldn't see, hear, touch, or taste, just believe, was actually a big lie. And this leads children and us all to the belief system that you can't trust the things you cannot see. If you cannot see it, it must not be real. Just like Santa Claus, just like the Easter Bunny. And it takes away our belief in non-physical things, such as our intuition, the divine, spirit guides, angels, fairies, consciousness inside the earth, consciousness in the spiritual realm. Also things you can't always see, not in physical form. You can't always hear. You can't always smell or taste. You can't give a hug the way humans give hugs. But it's there and it's extremely real. And so when kids get to that space of, oh, I think there's a higher power here, I guess I can't believe it. I can't trust it. I trusted Santa Claus, and that ended up to be a lot of BS. So now there's this thing called the divine, spirit guides, angels. No, there's not. And listen, you guys, I'm seeing this with my own daughter. I'm seeing this with Freya. Because we used to channel the fairies and work with the fairies. And lately she's been saying, I don't think the fairies are real. You told me the Easter Bunny was real and it wasn't. And what can I say to that? I lied to her. I didn't want to, but I just followed the collective conditioning. I did it. Along the way, I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be doing this, but I did it. And my message for us all today here is we have a choice. We don't have to follow the collective conditioning. And you aren't robbing your kids of a magical experience if you say, well, actually, the tooth fairy isn't real. But we can still practice it. We can still have the game and have the fun and have the fairy tale and have the fantasy. We can pretend. Or maybe instead of the tooth fairy, we should channel an actual fairies, because fairies in the spiritual realm actually exist. So yes, you say, okay, I'm going to leave money under the pillow. I'm going to do that as your parent, but let's channel one of the fairies about your tooth. There's so many things you can still do that's fun and exciting for your kids that doesn't involve these false narratives. Okay, everybody, I am joined today by the amazing, incredible Freya Scammell, who has agreed to be my guest. So I told Freya I had something important to tell her on the podcast today, which I'm going to do. But before I do that, I want to tell our listeners, who most of them come from places outside of the Netherlands or Belgium or Germany, where they celebrate Sinterklaas. So can you tell us who Sinterklaas is, Freya?
So Sinterklaas is, so he comes on 11th November, and then so you put your shoe out, and then you put a carrot in it the first day, and you make a list what you all wanted, and then you put it in your shoe, and then the next evening, next morning when you wake up, there's some present in your shoe, and then you get a calendar in your shoe for just second day of Sinterklaas, and then the calendar says which days you can put your shoe, and on 5 December, that was yesterday, you get Sinterklaas doorbells on in the evening.
Yep, rings your doorbell.
Yeah, rings your doorbell on in the evening, and then there's a big sack of presents, and then there's also a chocolate letter.
So she's very well summed up the Sinterklaas tradition, and it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
It's my favorite holiday.
It's your favorite holiday. And lately you've been asking me questions about Sinterklaas and the presents. You've been finding things.
Like what presents?
Like you've been finding a present in the basement that you wanted. So tell me what you've been thinking. Like, you've been asking me, is this all real, Mama, or do you do this? Haven't you been asking me that?
Yes, but well, I don't think Sinterklaas is real because he was real, but he died. He died.
Well, Freya, this is the important thing that I wanted to tell you.
What?
What you said is 100% true. He was real. He was a saint.
Yeah, I know.
What was he? He was like
Mama,
a saint.
I already know. Yeah, I know what you're about to say. I already know that he's not real.
So you already know it?
Yeah, he was real.
He was real.
And he's from Turkey. I have no idea.
He's from Turkey. He was a saint something. Sorry, I should have looked this up before we recorded. But he was a person who lived at one time. He was a saint. He lived in Turkey. And he used to give out presents to poor people. Anyway, this whole
poor people.
Yeah, I think he gave like food to poor people, and people used to put their shoes at night by the wood burning stoves to warm their shoes so they'd be warm in the morning, and that somehow the tradition came to be putting presents inside of the shoes.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Can I say something? And then you share what you were going to say. I've felt bad all these years not telling you the truth about it. And I always wanted to tell you the truth. That he was a man, he lived, he did nice things, he gave presents to people, and that was all real. But now...
But Mama, I already know it my whole life. I just never told you.
But would you have rather I would have just been honest with you from the beginning?
Yeah, you lied to me the whole time.
I know, that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's why I feel sad about it, because I never want to lie to you. And I always want to be honest with you. And you and I used to talk about fairies, and we used to talk to fairies.
Yeah.
And now you told me not too long ago you weren't sure if the fairies were real. But here's the thing.
But you can't see them.
Right. I understand that. But there are certain...
No, you can't see them, so they're not real.
What I'm trying to say to you, Freya, there are certain things that are real that you can't see.
I know.
Oh, you do know. Okay, like what?
Well, buffalo lions are real. So, look, they're very rare, but they live in Africa. And so they're a tiny bit part buffalo, and they're a tiny and they're lion. But those are the ones that look like men lions and girl lions. But they're really rare to see. But you probably also don't think they're real. But they are, because you probably also never heard of it. But they are, because one of my friends said that there was a very, very, very weird lion. And he looked like a buffalo and a lion.
Like a buffalo lion?
Yeah, like a buffalo lion.
Wow. Okay, so there are rare things in the world that we don't see very often, and those are real. Okay, but let's get back.
And dinosaurs are real, but they're just extinct.
That's true. Okay. Let's get to fairies and angels, because I'm just going to share with you what I believe. I believe they're real, and they're non-physical. We can't see them the way you can see this pen. Here, I see this pen. It's physical. I knock on it. I write with it. But let's just ask, do you want to talk to the angels or the fairies? Just for fun, just for play, to see what happens.
Nobody.
Can you try for me? Okay. Should we try the angels?
No, the fairies.
The fairies. Okay. So what I want you to do is take some deep breaths and fill up the low.
Wait, no, I want to get one of get a card.
Okay, let's do that next.
Fine.
Okay, she's going to pick an oracle card from us from the spirit animal oracle. So these are spirit animals.
Yeah.
And you can't see them, but they are real. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a card and I'm gonna show you that it's my favorite animal.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to get my favorite animal.
Okay. That's your reward for playing along with me. You get to pull an oracle card for us. So I'd like you and I both together to take some deep breaths and fill up the lower part of your belly. 1, we'll do 3. Inhale and 2. And listeners, breathe with us. 3. Now I want you to just sink into your body and place your awareness on your heart energy, your heart space, right at the center of your chest. And we're going to set the intention to speak to the fairies. And we're going to ask the fairies to appear. And we're going to ask the fairies a question. What question do you want to ask the fairies?
How old are you?
Fairies, how old are you?
I just heard 30.
See, you just heard 30. Did a person say 30?
Well, I said in my head.
Yeah, well, where did that thought come from?
I don't know, my head.
Do you think it could have come from the fairies?
They can't come in my head.
Yes, they can. See, what happens is they send you signals that you receive.
They can go through my ear.
They can go through your ear, that's right.
And then they go into my brain.
Yeah, well, the messages do, yes. They send an energetic signal to your brain that your brain translates into words like, or numbers like 30. Let's ask a different question, like fairies.
What's your name?
Okay, there you go. So fairies, one fairy who's with us, what is your name?
I heard Christina.
Christina, I like that. So you keep saying you're hearing. You probably have an intuitive gift of hearing.
But it's only through this
the right ear? Okay. How about this? Fairies, what message do you have for Freya?
What's your name?
What is your name?
Freya.
Yes, we know, they're saying. We know because we know you very well. And we've been with you ever since you were a baby.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions for the fairies?
What's my mom's name?
How about something like, what's a message for my mom?
What's a message for my mom's TV show?
Podcast.
Okay,
Okay, that's a great one, Freya. Fairies, what message do you have for us, for the listeners of this podcast? Now, Freya, I want you to feel in your heart what you feel the fairies are saying as the message.
Pick a card.
Okay, so the fairies are saying use the oracle card deck to convey the message. So now I'm giving the card deck to Freya as her reward for playing along. There they are. Okay. And she's going to pick a card, any card. Use your heart. And when your heart says this one, then that's the one you choose, because that's using your intuition.
I'm also going to try to pick my favorite animal.
And it's a double whammy. She's going to try to pick a card that has a profound message for us and her favorite animal, all in one go.
This one I can't see, so.
Let me see.
Yeah, this one is a yes.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, it's actually really perfect for
this.
this.
What is it?
It's a coyote.
Oh yeah, I love coyotes because when I went to my mom's grandma's,
grandma's
house.
Yeah, my mom, your grandma.
So I saw a coyote very far in the distance.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I said, "Wow, they look pretty." And one time I pet him when I was really little. You weren't with me. And I really liked it, and he really liked me. So I really like coyote.
Didn't I tell you at one point that one of your spirit animals was a coyote?
Yes.
That's what I thought. So listen, this message is perfect because
Wait,
it
what
says,
does it say?
Go ahead and read it.
Trust in divine. What does that mean? Wait,
Divi-
I can't read.
Well, yeah, okay. This is a girl who's learning how to read in Dutch, and this is in English. Trust in divine detours.
What does divine mean?
So divine is a word that they use to describe all the things like fairies and angels and spirit animals and spirit guides, all the things that are real but you can't see. What this card means to me is a divine detour was you being told that to believe in Santa Claus and then finding out that Santa Claus wasn't real.
Yeah, well, I just found out this year.
Yeah.
Well, I also found out a few years ago, but I forgot.
But remember when you found out there was no Easter bunny and you were really mad at me for not telling you the truth?
Yes.
How did that make you feel when you first found out about there was no Easter bunny?
Sad.
Yeah.
Disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah. But so I think that was our detour, our divine detour. And now we're going to go back on track, back to a relationship based on truth and believing in the things that are real, even if we can't see them.
Wait, is the Christmas man then real?
What do you think? What does your heart say? You mean Santa Claus.
Well, oh yeah.
In English, it's called Santa Claus. What does your heart say? Does he live at the North Pole with a bunch of elves and reindeer?
I don't think so because there's no grocery stores anywhere around the North Pole. Well, only like inventor people go there, and I mean climate explorers go there just to see what there's out
Right.
there.
Right.
But I don't think they live there because it's extremely cold there. The explorers only go there like for a week or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm here, Freya, to forge a new relationship with you based on trust. And I want to share with you the things I believe are real, even if you can't see them. The things that you can't see but are real. And by can't see, you just can't see them the way that I see you. But you can see them in other ways. Last thing, and then we'll wrap this up, and then Freya gets to have her post-school snack. I have a little bowl here that I'm holding. Let's imagine that in this bowl, there's a tiny, we're going to ask a fairy to appear, a small fairy to appear inside this tiny bowl. Now I want you to see, do you feel like you see anything? Do you feel like you see a fairy in this bowl appearing?
Yeah, it has a purple dress.
I saw purple too. So the fairy is appearing, but you don't see it and feel it the way you see and feel a human being or a dog or a bison lion. All right, Freya. Well, I really appreciate you being our guest here today on Soul Guide Radio. Any final words? She's bowing.
I can't pass it.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. Now it's just back to me. Freya is downstairs having her post-school snack. And I'm so happy with how that conversation went. I really feel like more bonded to her. I feel really good about how we're going to celebrate holidays going forward because we're still going to celebrate and we're going to still celebrate all the traditions and we're going to do it because it's fun and it's something to look forward to. And I am going to really set the intention to incorporate the things that you can't see but are real, I believe, into the traditions. So the next time she loses a tooth, let's incorporate an actual tooth fairy. And let's incorporate angels and let's incorporate spirit animals because these are the real things that we believe in that you can't always see. And these are the things that I really would love for her to cultivate a relationship with. And when she asks me pointed questions about whether something is real or not, I am just going to share with her what I believe. And then I will point her and guide her back to her heart, back to her higher self, to ask her heart what her heart is telling her. And so this is something I invite for you to play around with your own kids, if you have them, or any of your loved ones. And it's really about all of us connecting to what is true and what is real, even if you can't see it. And there are the things that you can't see that actually aren't real. And there are the things that you can't see that are real. And can we start cultivating that truth within ourselves and within our loved ones and within our communities and within our clients? And this is the true message of this episode. It's really not about parenting. It goes beyond that. It goes to something deeper. And collectively, let's come together to cultivate the truth and to cultivate what it is that is real that we cannot see. And you can only decide for yourself what that is for you, because there may be things that you believe are real that I don't believe are real, and vice versa. And just like Freya can only cultivate that for herself. And the only voice that will ultimately get you to your truth is your higher self. And the sooner and the earlier we can get our children connecting to their higher self in a way that builds credibility and trust and not deceit, the more powerful our children's bonds will be with their intuitive gifts, and then they will be able to indeed pass that on to their kids. So as we evolve to higher consciousness, we're all forging a deeper, more profound relationship to the only voice that matters, the only thing that's really true, and that is your connection to your higher self. My invitation for you this week is to give this all some exploration for yourself. Is there any ways that you wish to be a little bit more honest with your loved ones on any subject? Are there any ways that you want to be a bit more honest with yourself? Is there something you're going along with because society just does it that doesn't feel good and you've just been doing it but you don't want to? I invite you to just question that. Question if you still want to be doing that, or if you want to just start leaning into the truth of how you really feel and the truth of what you really believe. All right. I just feel so much better now at the end of this episode than I did at the start. So I appreciate you out there holding the space for me. And I appreciate you, dear listener, so much. If you received anything interesting or useful or provocative from this episode, I'd love to know about it. Head on over to wherever it is you listen. You'll find a link to subscribe. Please do that. And leave a rating and review. And if you screenshot your review and DM it to me on Facebook or Instagram, or send it to me in an email at allison@allisonscammell.com, I will read your mesmerizing words on the air and send you a high value and very cool intuitive gift of gratitude. So that is a wrap for this week. As always, until next time, may your soul guide the way.